How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder, to recap last night's game between the Yankees and the Mariners. Second game of the three-game set in the Bronx as we get closer and closer to the All-Star break. And the Yankees now have won three in a row. They win the final game of the Subway Series against the Mets, and they've taken the first two games of this series with the Mariners. And they clinched a series victory last night. And the offense, once again, was clicking. Couple of home runs from Jazz Chisholm, a big two-run double by Aaron Judge late in the game. And you also had the debut of Cam Schlittler. So, to kind of go through it, I really liked what I saw out of Schlittler. Ran into some trouble with the deep ball yesterday. You had J.P. Crawford hitting a home run off of him, and then later in the game you had Jorge Polanco hitting one deep into the second deck for a home run. But there were a lot of positives to take away from Schlittler. And on social media, you see many people, coming up with comparisons. I know here on Sports Talk Radio, you had someone comparing Schlittler to a combination of Jacob deGrom and Garrett Cole, a younger Garrett Cole. And he did look like that because even yesterday, my mom said he looked like Cole. So more than just one person saying that. I'm sure many other Yankee fans are saying the same thing. But yeah, there were people saying that, his delivery kind of reminds people. I saw there was a side-by-side comparison between him and Ivan Nova, their deliveries. I know somebody else said Tyler Glasnow. To me, there's like a hint of Chad Green in there. I don't know. At least for me, there's a hint of Chad Green. When he's about to throw the ball, you kind of see a little bit of Chad Green. At least that's from my perspective. But anyways, I like what I saw out of him. And he was throwing 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. His first strikeout was against Cal Riley, so how about that? Your first strikeout against the home run leader in the major leagues. But he put together, for what it was worth, he put together a good performance. He got, into the sixth inning, 1 out. He struck out Riley again, and they took him out of the game. But he did finish 5 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and the 2 homers. So, again, not perfect, but we'll take it. And this won't be his one and only start in the major leagues. He is going to get another start, at least another turn through the rotation. But to be honest, I honestly think he should stay up here. I know it's one team. Let's see how he does in his second start. But I really like what I saw out of Cam Schlittler. He was composed, and he was drawing comparisons to Garrett Cole also with just the preparation. How, he might be, a jokester off the field and when it's not his time to pitch, but when it's his turn to pitch, he's a different guy. That is his only focus. So, and he got a standing ovation as he left the mound last night. But I was impressed with what I saw. And it helped when you had the Yankees picking up where they left off offensively. They put up a 3-spot immediately in the bottom of the first inning. Dominguez singled, another good game from him at the plate, 3 for 4 last night. Then Aaron Judge worked a walk, and then Cody Bellinger gets things started, continues that hitting streak, put the Yankees up 1-0. Then Stanton hits a ball out to right center field to make it 2-0, and then Jazz Chisholm grounded into a force out that made it 3-0 Yankees. So things were looking pretty good. But then in the top of the third, like I said, J.P. Crawford hit a home run. But Jazz Chisholm, he answered, got the Yankees back a run with his 16th homer of the season, and then he ended up homering later in the game, so a multi-homer game for Jazz, as he has just been on fire since he's come back from injury, and looks comfortable once again over there at second base. So, and we'll talk about the infield situation in a second with a corresponding move that the Yankees made. Jorge Polanco did homer, like I said, to make it 4-2. Jazz homered in the bottom of the fifth again to make it 6-2 with Bellinger on base. He singled again. And then they took Schlittler out in the top of the sixth inning after striking out Cal Riley. He did give up a ground rule double to Julio Rodriguez. And they put in Loaisiga. And what does Loaisiga do immediately? He gives up a 2-run homer to Randy Arozarena. Loaisiga just has not been good this year. And it's unfortunate, and that's what happens to some guys. You come back from Tommy John surgery, and it really does take time for you to come back. And, Loaisiga does have the stuff. The velocity is inconsistent here and there. He just doesn't look like the same pitcher. So I don't know. I mean, he is only with the Yankees for just this year. He signed a 1-year deal. You wonder if, the Yankees, add some arms, do they end up letting him go? I mean, it might be a bit of a stretch because I think the Yankees still feel like they have something with him. So I don't think they want to lose him yet. But I think it should be on the table. But in the bottom of the sixth inning, Jason Dominguez singled to score Austin Wells, who had a ground rule double earlier in the inning. Peraza reached on a fielding error. So the Yankees, benefiting from defensive miscues by the Mariners. And then Judge hits the 2-run double later to score Dominguez and Peraza. And then Cole Young hits a home run, a 2-run shot, his first homer of the season to make it 9-6. They replaced Loizaga with Luke Weaver, and let me tell you something. Luke Weaver, he looked like Luke Weaver last night. He struck out J.P. Crawford. He got Julio Rodriguez to fly out. And then he did hit a Rosarena, but he struck out Jorge Polanco and Luke Raley to end the inning on the top of the 8th inning. And then Devin Williams locked it down. And he continues to look good. So the back end of the Yankees bullpen looked like how it should be. Luke Weaver pitching an inning and 2/3 with 3 strikeouts, and Devin Williams striking out a couple of guys as well. And his ERA right now is down to 4.86. But Loizaga, in his inning of work, 3 earned runs. His ERA is up to 4.84. Not looking good. Not looking good for Loizaga. But another good win for the Yankees, and for Jazz Chisholm, his batting average is now up to 284. Or 284, sorry, 251. I don't know why I said where I got 284 from, but 251, 876 OPS. All right, so to put that into perspective, since he's come back, and this is a tweet from John Boy, he's slashing 309. He's got 8 homers in his 30 games back. He's added 9 and 10 last night. I mean, he has looked great. And the only 2 guys that have more homers than him since he came back on June 3rd is the 2 home run leaders in the majors, Aaron Judge and Cal Riley. So that really does put things into perspective, how good Jazz has been, and the power has been there. And, lefty bat, it's going to work in Yankee Stadium. So, and, the way he's been, yeah, I mean, you could say, hey, look, since he's come back, he does deserve to be an all-star. I mean, maybe he would have gave it to somebody else just because Jazz was hurt for so long, but he has been on fire. And he also said that he would be open to participating in the home run derby. I'm kind of mixed on that because, yeah, it would be great for Jazz to do that, a Yankee to participate in the home run derby for the first time since Aaron Judge, really. But at the same time, why does Aaron Judge not do the home run derby anymore? It's because it messed up his swing. And also because Jazz Chisholm, we were hearing about the shoulder issue that he was having. So I don't necessarily want Jazz to participate if that's bothering him. Now, they said it's more so on the throwing than it is hitting. But still, I mean, home run derby, you are using up a lot of energy. And especially with the new format and the time limit, you're trying to hit, as many homers as possible and all that. It just, I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Jazz should participate in the home run derby? Do you think he shouldn't? Again, I'm fine either way, but I would lean more towards saying, you know what, maybe sit out. But nobody, he hasn't been approached about it, but he's been hitting a lot of home runs. So he could. We'll see. But that was a good win for the Yankees last night. Got a little dicey at times because Loizaga just kept giving runs back to the Mariners. But, encouraging signs with Luke Weaver and, again, like with Cam Schlittler. I mean, Yankees needed that. And especially, because, look, Seattle's not a pushover. Now, maybe to the Yankees you could say they are because the Yankees, I don't think, have lost a game to the Mariners this year. I think, right? Didn't they sweep them out in Seattle? I'd have to go back and look. But either way, they've played well against Seattle. But Seattle's a playoff team right now. So, the Yankees can only play who's in front of them. And then they got the Cubs after that. But Dominguez, 3 for 4 last night. Bellinger was 2 for 4. His OPS is now over 800. Batting average 281. OPS is at 809. Stanton with the RBI single. Jazz, 876 OPS, like we said. Goldschmidt picked up another hit. His average is back up to 290s at a 781 OPS. Austin Wells had a couple of hits. So, you got to like what you're seeing from this lineup up and down. And for the second consecutive day, we had the same lineup. I don't know what it's going to be like tonight. I anticipate it's going to be a little bit different. Probably see Ben Rice and maybe Trent Grisham in there. More so Trent Grisham than Ben Rice tonight. Or maybe Ben Rice is behind the plate tonight with Marcus Stroman on the mound going up against Brian Wu, who is an all-star. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Yankees tonight. So we'll see if they can, get the final game and get the sweep. That would be nice, but I don't know. With Stroman on the mound and Brian Wu, Yankees struggle with him. So, but some other things I wanted to talk about. So yesterday, the Yankees made a move which I think should have been made a long time ago, but that didn't happen. Yesterday, the Yankees DFA'd DJ LeMahieu. And now he was officially released today. So it was a sad day. Because once you saw that LeMahieu was kind of getting phased out and his role was being diminished to really just a bat that comes off the bench, that wasn't a good sign for him. Because, Oswald Peraza, not Jose Peraza, Oswald Peraza, who really hasn't hit this year. Once you see that he's playing third base and they're moving Jazz back to second, and there's no role for LeMahieu, really. And, I watched Brian Cashman's press conference, and he talked about, how DJ was communicating with, him and Aaron Boone that, going back to third base was going to be challenging for him and, where he's at physically. So, and this goes back, Cashman was saying, all the way to the winter. So once you saw that, you kind of figured maybe like after the trade. I was thinking maybe not necessarily at this point at this moment, but maybe down the line, more closer to the trade deadline, if the Yankees start adding pieces, then you would see that move. But no, the Yankees went and did it now. And for DJ LeMahieu, for majority of Yankee fans, most of us are going to be very appreciative of him and what he did for this team. More specifically, when they first got him. Because when the Yankees first got him, he was more of just, a utility guy. That's what he was going to be. Play all over the place, was going to, give guys days off, things like that. But in 2019, he was a hitting machine. And I believe he had a career high in homers. He had hit 26 homers that season. He was awesome for the Yankees the first couple years. Won a batting title during the COVID season, batting .364. Had a great glove, played all over the place, third base, second base, first base. And he hit one of the biggest home runs before Juan Soto's homer last year. He hit the home run against the Astros to tie the game. Now, we all know how that game ended. But that was a clutch home run by DJ LeMahieu, and that'll always be remembered amongst Yankee fans as just it was a clutch home run in the moment. And it was a challenging few years for him. And obviously, when he was a free agent, many Yankee fans, including myself, were saying, you got to re-sign him, you got to re-sign him, you got to re-sign him, because he was like a breath of fresh air for Yankee fans. Because the Yankees had all these right-handed sluggers and just a lot of guys that hit home runs and struck out. DJ LeMahieu was a breath of fresh air because he was a contact guy. Not necessarily going up there and trying to hit the ball 500 feet. So, and he was the leadoff hitter for the Yankees. So obviously when the Yankees gave that deal, we were all happy about it, but it just, he never reached that level of production again once he got that 6-year contract. And the Yankees are still going to have to pay some of it, right? Even with DFAing him, he's still going to be, on the payroll. But, it's just a lot of it had to do with injuries. Dealing with a ton of injuries these last few years, and it's just age caught up to him. And you really saw that. He finally, it seemed like he got his legs underneath him, and in the beginning when he first came back, he was hitting the ball hard, but, wore down, and he showed you he just doesn't have that range in the field anymore. So, yeah, it's just the Yankees finally made the tough call there. Last year they were going to do it, but, we talked about in a previous podcast, Aaron Judge supposedly stepped in and said, hey, not so fast. So we got to keep DJ around. But this was the right move. Again, it's sad because, I think, again, majority of Yankee fans love DJ. And, again, we're appreciative of what he's done with this team. But look, you got to make tough business decisions, right? And ultimately, and not just in baseball, but in all sports, if a player, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have with the player. If they're not producing, you got to move in a different direction. And the Yankees did the right thing here. Now, DJ supposedly wasn't happy about it, and he was saying he was open to trying to, work through it and still be a part of this team and give it a go at third base, even with the difficulties he, expressed to Cashman and Boone about moving over to third base. He still wanted to be a part of this team, but the Yankees felt like they should just let him go, and that's what they did. So for DJ LeMahieu, if this is it, what a ride it has been, with this team. And Yankee fans, like I said, it's tough, but it was a move that needed to be made. And the Yankees brought up Yorbit Vivas to take DJ LeMahieu's spot. So DJ LeMahieu's time with the Yankees is over. And let's see. We'll see if a team picks him up. But like I said, I did watch Brian Cashman's press conference. He talked about Volpe and how Volpe, they expect better from him and that he's going to get out of this. So, and he did bring up the clip that made him go viral, Brian Cashman, when he was going back and forth with Joel Sherman about Volpe, and how that clip really hasn't aged well because Volpe has really seemed to regress. So he said Volpe's part of the solution, not the problem, which I hope he's right. I'm not rooting for him to be wrong in that respect. And then he also talked about the trade deadline. Obviously, he talked about DJ, but he also talked about the trade deadline and how the Yankees are going to be very aggressive. He did say, however, he doesn't know what the trade market is going to be like. And, we don't know what it's going to be like because we could talk about how the Yankees want to get Suarez from the Diamondbacks, but he might not be available if the Diamondbacks, string together some wins and they say, no, we're not selling. So, yeah, I don't know. But the Yankees, they got a lot of work to do. Third base, a couple of relief pitchers, and a starter. It's a lot. It's a lot. Cashman's going to do the best he can. But I'm with him. I don't know what's going to be available. We got to see. But he's definitely been in the process of fielding calls and seeing what's out there. But the Yankees will get some guys. They are going to get players. It's just who's it going to be. But I saw that Jeff Passan said that the Yankees could be in, obviously, well, their main target is Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks, which I would love. But he also said a name that I don't think is going to happen, but this would be crazy if they added him, if they got Emmanuel Clase. I mean, it's going to take, I would guess it's going to take a lot to get him. But I just don't see that happening. But could you imagine you have Clase, Luke Weaver, and Devin Williams? I mean, that would be the present-day no-runs DMC, right? I mean, that would really excite me. But I also saw that maybe the Yankees, they try to get Suarez, and then they get one of Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly for the starting rotation, which would be nice. So we'll see. But, trade deadline, it'll be here before we know it. Yankees are going to make moves, but they're playing better baseball right now. The offense is still clicking. Let's see what they do tonight against Brian Wu. But, the Mariners have good pitching, and so far they've done a good job. I know maybe the rain delay kind of helped them out against Logan Gilbert the other night. But the offense has looked good. It's a good lineup. And like I said yesterday, Peraza may not have it with the bat, but the way this top seven is hitting right now, we'll take it. And hopefully Volpe gets it going because then you can add him to the equation. And if they get Eugenio Suarez and you put him in that lineup, I mean, it's a tough lineup to navigate through when everybody's hitting. Cody Bellinger's a hitting machine right now. Jazz Chisholm. I'm curious to see what they do with Bellinger at the end of the year because he does have a player option where he can opt out. And odds are he probably is going to opt out. So what could the Yankees do then? Because they could pursue Kyle Tucker. right? And like, would Bellinger wait if the Yankees pursue Kyle Tucker, and then if the Yankees don't get him, they bring Bellinger back? I don't know. I would love if Cody Bellinger comes back. He's been solid for them for this year. I hope he sticks around if they don't get Kyle Tucker. Or if they just, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And we'll be seeing Kyle Tucker this weekend when the Yankees take on the Cubs in the Bronx. Also, another thing that I kept forgetting to bring up for some reason, Judge getting hit in the face with the baseball by Volpe. What was that? What happened there? But it's just one of those things where, like the infielder, as they're coming in, they throw the ball to the outfielder. Judge wasn't even looking, and he gets hit square in the face. That's why, if you didn't realize, he's wearing that bandage on his, right over here on the side of his head, because he got hit in the face with the baseball. Yeah, Volpe just can't do anything right. And then, in this series, he hits a ball, off the wall out in right field. And then he gets thrown out at second base trying to stretch the hit into a double. I guess maybe because he thought it was going to go out. But hey, you know what? The infield has looked crisp since they made the moves. And you know what? Volpe will benefit from that, hopefully, and he gets the bat going. Like I said, I want Cashman to be right. I want Volpe to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. But we'll see. Maybe the All-Star break is something he needs, to kind of get his mind right. Back end of the bullpen looked good. Offense continues to hit. Cam Schlittler, like what I saw. Let's try to, minimize the long balls. But hey, not bad for a first career start for Cam Schlittler. So the Yankees actually did gain ground on the Blue Jays yesterday, because the Blue Jays, believe it or not, they did lose to the White Sox. So they are now 2.5 games back. And the Blue Jays are off. So if they win tonight, they can gain a half game back on the Blue Jays and be 2 games back. But like I said, it's going to be tough. Brian Wu against Marcus Stroman. I don't really like the Yankees' chances in that, but we'll see. Mets already played today. They lost to the Orioles 3-1. First game of a doubleheader. Cubs right now are in progress. 7-1 over the Twins. Pete Crow Armstrong, young player for the Cubs, doing really well. 24 homers now on the season. Yeah, Cubs are a good team. Actually, no, he hit another home run, so he's got 25 homers on the year, and he was part of the Javier Baez deal with the Mets. So yeah, on the season, well, like I said, we'll be seeing him this weekend along with Kyle Tucker. 24 homers, 69 RBIs, 27 stolen bases, and 851 OPS, and he's 23 years old. Looking good. Cubs got a good player there. And then for Kyle Tucker, 285 batting average, 17 homers, 55 RBIs, 22 stolen bases, 900 OPS. And he is going to get paid a lot of money this offseason. So the Yankees go for the sweep tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow to recap the game going into the weekend. So as always, everybody, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also follow us on the social media platforms in the description. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can also listen to us as well, mainly Spotify and all that good stuff. So until next time, everybody, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.